Welcome to our first session on the TI84 calculator. Today we will explore the essentials of this powerful tool, including the keypad layout, mode settings, how to enter functions, set windows, and utilize the table and trace features. By mastering these basics, you'll be well prepared for future chapters. In today's session, we will cover several key topics. First, we'll go over calculator basics, including the keypad layout and navigation. Then, we'll discuss mode settings, graphing using the y== equation editor, and how to view and adjust the window. Finally, we will explore the table and trace features. Mastering these will make your pre-calculus journey much smoother. Let's take a look at the calculator layout. The top row contains the most important graphing controls: y=, window, zoom, trace, and graph. Below the screen, you'll find navigation arrows, the Enter key, the second key, Mode, and Del. In the middle, there are menus and tools like Math, Apps, PRGM, and VARs. Lastly, the bottom section includes the number pad and operation keys. Hold your calculators and follow along as we identify each zone. Now let's discuss the second and alpha keys. The second key, which is blue, allows you to access the commands printed above each key. You press second first, then the key below the command you want. For example, pressing second and then trace brings up the calc menu. The alpha key, which is green, lets you access the letters above each key, useful for typing variable names and text. For instance, pressing alpha and then math gives you the letter A. Continuing with the calculator anatomy, the TI84 Plus CE has several key zones. The graphing row at the top includes y=, window, zoom, trace, and graph. The navigation area features arrow keys for moving through menus and adjusting the cursor. The editing row includes the second key for blue labels, alpha for green labels, and keys for functions and operations. Finally, the number pad and operations column are located at the bottom right. Let's practice locating these keys on your calculators. Next, let's explore mode settings. You can access the mode screen by pressing the mode key. Here, you can choose the number display format, the angle unit, radian or degree, and the graph type, function, parametric, polar, or sequence. Additionally, you can select how curves are drawn and whether to plot functions one at a time or together. Most of the time, we will use normal, float, and function mode. It's crucial to understand the difference between radian and degree mode. Trigonometric functions yield completely different results depending on the angle mode you choose. For example, in degree mode, the sine of 90 = 1, while in radian mode, the sine of 90 is approximately 0.894. Always check your mode before evaluating trigonometric expressions or graphing trig functions. For this course, we will primarily use radian mode unless otherwise specified. Let's walk through how to navigate mode settings step by step. First, press the mode key to open the settings screen. Use the down arrow to move to the row for radian and degree. Then, press the left or right arrow to highlight degree, and press Enter to select it. Finally, press second and mode to return to the home screen. Remember, the highlighted option is the active one. Now let's look at the y== equation editor. To open the equation editor, press the y= key. You can enter up to 10 functions, labeled from y1 to y0. Use the x, t, theta, n key for the variable x. If you want to toggle a function on or off, simply place the cursor on the equals sign and press Enter. To clear an equation, position the cursor on it and press Clear. Let's go through the steps for entering a function. For example, to enter y=x² - 3x + 1, first press the y= key. The cursor will be on y1. Type the x, t, theta, n key for x, then press the squared key or use the caret key for exponentiation. Next, press the subtraction key, then 3, followed by the x, t, theta, n key again. After that, press the addition key and then 1. Finally, press Enter or Graph to see the function. Remember, use the negative key for negative signs, not the subtraction key. Next, let's talk about the viewing window. Press the Window key to set the graphing rectangle. You can adjust the left and right boundaries of the screen with Xmin and Xmax, and set the spacing of tick marks on the x-axis with Xscale. Similarly, you can set the bottom and top boundaries with Ymin and Ymax, and adjust the spacing on the y-axis with YCL. The window determines what portion of the coordinate plane you see, so it's essential to set it correctly. Now let's look at some common zoom presets. The Z standard option gives you a good starting point with a window of -10 to 10 on both axes. The Z square option adjusts the window so circles appear circular. The Z trig option is ideal for trigonometric functions, covering a range from -2 pi to 2 pi. There's also the Z decimal option, which provides a friendly view for tracing values, and the zoom fit option, which adjusts the Y range to fit the function. Let's graph a function step by step. For example, to graph y equals x squared minus 4, first press the y equals key to open the equation editor. Type x theta n, then x squared, then the subtraction key, followed by 4. Next, press zoom and select option 6 for Z standard to set a default window. The parabola will appear on the screen with its vertex at the point 0, -4. You can adjust the window further if needed for a better view. Now let's try graphing y equals x squared minus 3x plus 1. First, press y equals and enter the function into y1. Then press zoom and select option 6 for Z standard to graph it. You should observe that the parabola opens upward with the vertex near the point 1.5, -1.25. For a better view, press window and set x min to -2, x max to 5, y min to -3, and y max to 5. This will make the vertex and intercepts clearly visible. Next, let's graph y equals sine of x in radian mode. First, press mode to confirm that radian is selected. Then, press y equals and enter sine of x into y1. After that, press zoom and select option 7 for Z trig to graph it. You should see the familiar sine wave, displaying one full cycle from -2 pi to 2 pi, oscillating between -1 and 1. If you switch to degree mode and graph again, the wave will appear flat because the range is not appropriate for the sine function. Now, let's explore the table feature for viewing function values numerically. Press second and then TBL set to configure the starting x value and the step size for the table. Then, press second and table to view the table of x and y values for all active functions. The table is invaluable for checking function values, spotting patterns, and verifying the behavior of graphs. The table feature has two modes, auto and ask. In auto mode, the table fills automatically from the starting value with the specified step size. This is great for scanning a range of values and spotting sign changes. In ask mode, you manually type each x value, and the table only shows the values you request. You can set this in TBL set by changing the independent setting to auto or ask. Let's see the table and trace features in action. First, press second and window to set TBL start to -5 and to TBL to 1. Then, press second and graph to view the table of values. You can use the up and down arrows to scroll through the values. After that, press graph to view the graph, and then press trace to move the cursor along the curve. The coordinates will update at the bottom of the screen as you move along the graph. The trace feature allows you to move a cursor along the graphed function. By pressing trace, you can use the left and right arrows to navigate along the curve. The up and down arrows let you switch between different functions if you have more than one graphed. If you want to jump to a specific x value, just type the number and press enter. The coordinates will display at the bottom of the screen. Let's explore the zoom features available on the calculator. The Z-box option allows you to draw a rectangle around the area you want to zoom into. The Zoom In option magnifies the view around the cursor position, while Zoom Out expands the view. The Zoom Stat option fits the window to statistical data, which is useful for scatter plots. Finally, Z Previous lets you return to the previous window, acting as an undo for your zoom actions. Let's practice zooming to find detail in a function. Try graphing y equals x cubed minus 6x squared plus 9x using the Z standard setting. This function has two turning points, which may be hard to see. Press zoom and select option 0 for zoom fit to auto-adjust the Y range. Then use Z-box to zoom into the region near the local maximum. You should estimate the coordinates of the local maximum and minimum, which are near the points 1, 3 and 3, -1, respectively. Now it's time for some practice with graphing and using the table. Try entering y equals 1 over x into y1. and graph it using the z-decimal setting. Describe what you see on the graph. Then, use the table feature in auto mode, setting TBL start to -3 and delt TBL to 1. Pay attention to what happens at x equals 0, where the function is undefined. Next, let's practice adjusting window settings. Enter y equals 0.1, x cubed minus 2x into y1 and graph it using the z-standard setting. While you can see some of the curve, the local extrema may be cut off. Adjust the window settings to show all important features clearly. Write down your final settings. A suggested window would be x min equals -5, x max equals 5, y min equals -5, and y max equals 5, which reveals both the local maximum and minimum. Before we wrap up, let's go over some common tips and tricks to avoid pitfalls. If you see an error message saying syntax, check your parentheses and operator placement. If your graph is blank, ensure the function is toggled on, meaning the equals sign is highlighted. If your trigonometric graph appears flat, double-check your angle mode. If you see weird lines on rational functions, try switching to dot mode instead of connected mode. Lastly, remember to use the negative key for negation instead of the subtraction key. In summary, today we covered the basics of the TI84 calculator, including the keypad zones, mode settings, and essential graphing tools. We learned how to enter functions using the y equals key, control the viewing window with window and zoom, and utilize the table and trace features for numerical output and tracing graphs. In our next session, we will explore the calc menu to find zeros, maxima, minima, and intersections, as well as data entry and regression techniques.